What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents.
This story's called, My 26-year-old freeloading sister wants to press charges against me. This is more of an entitled sister story or something along those lines. I just needed a place to share this. It happened a couple of hours ago and I didn't know where to put it. Backstory. My 25 or 26-year-old sister stopped paying rent at her apartment and started to freeload at our place and caused many problems when she started to live with us, such as eating all the food in the house and never buying anything back even though she works. Now she has a 1-year-old son who I love dearly. My sister, who lost $100, was looking around for a bit but couldn't find it. When my mom came home, she asked about the situation. My sister said that someone stole her money and if she wasn't given compensation, she would start to steal money from everyone in the house. My mom said she'll look for the money but couldn't find it. So, come today, my sister came near my bedroom to use a sink that's close to my bedroom. This is how the conversation went. Here's the cast. My sister, or crappy sister, was on the phone, but I couldn't hear them.
I want my money or else I have to beat all the frickers in this house. I need compensation from these stink and nasty people around me.
I walk out of my room. Can you shut up? You're getting on my nerves.
I ain't afraid of you. I will beat you up, so just come on.
I pull out my small knife that I keep for self-defense. Excuse?
Yeah, you pull out a blade. I'm going to report you and say how you tried killing my son and how you try to kill me in my sleep.
I walk off and tell my aunt and mom about this over the phone. I was told to leave the house and lock the gate for the house, but the back door was left unlocked. I left the house and went by the local KFC to clear my head since it was the closest eating place near me. My mother comes half-hour later and tells me to go by my neighbor to stay and that I had no right to defend myself after my sister said she'll beat me and how charges are being pressed against me for attempted murder. When I arrive, my neighbor explains to me that my sister said I tried to kill her and her child and how I've been trying to violate her since she moved into our house. My sister said I locked her in the house against her will, but when the police arrived, they found the back door was open and that's how she got out of the house by just walking out. I'm currently home and my mother contacted me to tell me that I'm being charged with imprisoning my sister in the house and for attempted murder and possibly violation. I was also told by my mother I had no right to try and defend myself when my sister said she would attack me. When I tried to explain that my sister was lying and these are false accusations, I was just told, "This is your fault and you most likely are going to jail." Sorry if this story makes no sense, my head is in a mess. Also, I don't know if this is important, but I only just turned 18 on the 11th of November. I'm currently pretty scared because even though my sister has a police record of her doing similar things, and even a record of her beating our mother, my mother refuses to listen to my side of the story and all of this is being blamed on me. Sorry again if this is too long and if it doesn't make any sense. Let me tell you something, Sonny. I was your age once. If your sister is stupid enough to get locked in a house, then you have nothing to worry about. But dear God, her child definitely does. This story is called The Long Walk. This happened a long time ago to me, but it still makes me chuckle. Here's our cast iron skillet. There's me,
Wife?
entitled mother,
Child?
kids, my two, at the time, young ones. You know how it is with young kids. They see a Thomas the Tank ride or whatever outside the supermarket entrance and plead for a go on it. My wife volunteered to give the kids a go on the ride whilst I take the trolley back to the car and unload the shopping. Busy loading up the car, I hear a voice behind me. It's entitled Mother and Child.
This parking space is for families with small children, not for you. I've had to park over there.
Somewhere about a 10-second walk away,
You should be ashamed.
my kids are over there with my wife on the ride.
Of course they are.
Sarcasm mode cranked up to 11. Entitled Mother and Child then disappeared into the shop. Me? Absolutely fuming. It takes a lot to wind me up. I finish loading up and walk up to my wife. The kids have had their ride and are happy. Can I borrow the kids, please? My wife looks at me and I give a brief explanation of the proceedings. One kid, each hand, we disappear into the shop hunting for Entitled Mother. This could have lasted a long time, but it didn't. At the far end of the first aisle, I spotted her. The aisle was empty except for me, kids, Entitled Mother, and Child. She saw me. She was frozen to the spot. I took my time walking up to her. It was a long aisle and the kids only had short steps. The kids were at an age where they didn't question what I was doing, thankfully. I arrived and said nothing. I stood there, first looking at EntitledMother and then each of my kids in turn. Then I looked back at her. I may have raised an eyebrow at this point. "I'm sorry, I was wrong." I said nothing, then turned around and walked back the way I came. As I moved away, I could hear EntitledMother explaining to the quizzical child why she had to be such an arse. Small victory, I know, but it felt good. Now that I'm a grandparent, it grinds my gears to see fit, single people selfishly park in disabled or parent and child spaces because they are too lazy to walk a few extra yards. But of course, being British, I just internally seethe with righteous indignation and consider writing to my MP telling him something should be done. Well, that's just... I don't know, that just sounds like a bit from Malcolm in the Middle, like something Lois would do, or I don't know. It's just funny, and I appreciate how this guy didn't trash talk the EntitledMother too much because, honestly, she didn't seem too entitled there, at all really. Because, as far as she knew, she saw someone parking in the wrong spots and she called him out for it. Albeit it was out of, laziness, but she called him out for it and she admitted she was wrong when he confronted her with his children, without even having to be told anything. So in conclusion, Spider-Man 1 is the best Thanksgiving movie for you and your family. This story's called Karen Tries to Rip My Teeth. Everything is true. There will be a pinch of exaggeration mixed with this post. If you want proof of my retainers, I can show you. Here's the cast. There's me,
Karen, daughter of a cockroach, granddaughter of snake.
Chad, a snake in the making. Context. I am currently wearing retainers for both my upper and lower teeth. During food ingestion, I have to remove it to make my life easier. Me and my family had gone to the USA to visit my uncle in the June holidays. It was a dark and gloomy evening. The clouds looked ominous. I was power walking to the convenience store to buy some eggs and milk. The store stood out like a beacon in the dark. Cool, stale air greeted me as I opened the creaky metal door. It was barren, save for the cashier, Karen, and her red-shirted Chad. I quickly located the eggs and milk, but was seduced by this candy whose name shall not be uttered lest they be cursed with a taste of night soil for eternity. The candy pulled me closer and closer, covering me in its delicious embrace. I took my chance and bought it along with the mundane milk and eggs. After purchasing the item, I took out the retainers from my mouth and put them in my box when I saw Mr. Chad looking at me ominously. I took out the candy and asked him if he wanted one. The boy surprisingly said no. Something felt amiss. My gut instinct said, and I quote, "Night soil is going to strike this electric air circulator." I cautiously put the delectable candy in my mouth and rolled it around to ensure every bit of the succulent taste is spread to every bit of my red tongue till every place turns brown. Afterwards, I washed it down with a sip of refreshing water from my bottle. I took care to remove every last bit of chocolate from my mouth. During this candy trance of mine, the boy was gone. I fished out my retainers and put them back in my mouth. Suddenly, the hair in my neck stood up. I could feel the evil spirit standing behind me waiting to drag me to the pits of hell. When I turned around, I saw nothing and gave a sigh of relief and turned back around. When I saw her, a creature of the dark was standing right in front of me. My heart jumped out of my stomach. I could feel the temperature drop a few degrees. The sight was too scary to be properly described. A demon-like creature who looked like the love child of a cockroach and an alligator was standing before me. My hair was pleading to me to save it from the despicable sights it had witnessed. Behind the monstrosity stood Mr. Chad himself, staring at my soul with such an intensity no mortal had lived to tell his tale. The creature finally opened its maw and uttered a sentence.
I am Karen, and this is my son Chad. He saw that you had a pair of vampire teeth with you that you refused to give to him.
What? I have vampire teeth? I don't recall buying any. Is it perhaps this retainer? I opened my mouth and pointed at it.
Yes, that's the one. Can you give my son that fake teeth? He desperately wants to be a vampire for Halloween. He is such a good boy, and I am sure he would treasure it, wouldn't you, sweetie?
Yes, mommy dearest, I would treasure it forever. I, however, knew that they were just mere snakes in human skin. Lies were dripping out of their mouths like honey from a jar. Sorry, I can't give you that. It's not vampire teeth. It's meant to correct my teeth and was bought at a dental clinic. Anyway, isn't Halloween like 4 months away?
Mommy, that mean he doesn't want to give me that teeth. He doesn't want to share.
You know what, fine young man? How much was that teeth? $10? Here you go.
She hands me a $10 bill. Stop right there. These teeth are worth $500, okay? Anyway, I will not give you these teeth.
How dare you? You will not leave this store until I get those teeth from you.
A plan came to my brain. You know what? I'll give it to you only after we leave this store. It's too chilly here.
Okay, but don't you dare run away. Chad here is the fastest runner in his class and will catch up with you if you try escaping.
We leave the store and walk to a grass patch near the road. I forced myself to vomit by putting my finger in my mouth. I retched onto the grass. Luckily, the vomit didn't hit anyone. I then took the retainer out of my mouth. It was dripping with the contents of my stomach and the recently eaten candy.
Ew, Mommy, I don't want that. It's disgusting. It smells.
What the hell are you, sick in the head or what? Take that bloody disgusting thing away from me, you freak.
But these are the teeth you wanted. See how beautifully it sparkles and how wonderful the smell oozing from it is? I was disgusted, but I had to stay strong. By repeating, night soil will be more torturous than this.
No, I don't want that. Don't you dare come near me anymore. You can keep your teeth, you sick creep. Come, Chad, let's go home and get away from creeps like that piece of dookie.
Karen and Chad left the scene. The police were not called. I washed the retainer with water before putting it in the box. No one came after me either. I walked back to my uncle's house quickly, and he gives us the definition of night soil, which is human excrement collected at night from buckets, cesspools, and privies. This story's called Entitled Mom Doesn't Take No for an Answer. No, ma'am, your kid can't use my tablet. Wow, I did not think I'd ever be posting here, but here we are. Characters:
Entitled mother, entitled kid, the beautiful little angel,
and me, yours truly. So the deadline for my art project is approaching and I'm spending more and more time at a cafe drawing on my tablet. People leave me be for the most part. Some curious and ask questions, but none bother me too much until today. In comes Entitled Mother with her little gremlin. The entitled kid immediately starts screaming and running around. Well, she's just a kid, so I can understand that. Entitled Mother, of course, does nothing to calm her daughter. The kid eventually spots me drawing and runs up to watch. She stands there for a solid 2 minutes while the mom is ordering. Her staring does make me uncomfortable, but hey, she's just a kid. So I smile at her and keep drawing. Entitled Mother comes up to us and starts talking to Entitled Kid in this baby talk like,
"Look, what is this lady doing? Is she drawing?"
I'm still cool with it. Just a normal parent-kid conversation. It's then that Entitled Kid reaches for my tablet to touch it. I don't say anything, but look up at the mother like, "Get your kid away from my stuff, please." Entitled Mother keeps talking to the kid.
"Oh, honey, you want to draw on the gadget? That's okay."
And asks me if her daughter could draw on my tablet. Normally, I don't mind people messing around on it, but right now, I really don't have time, so I apologized and say, politely, that I have to work. The mother proceeds to argue about why I should let her kid draw and how it will only take a few minutes, while Entitled Kid just stands there glaring at us. I'm not good at saying no, but I decided to stand my ground on that one. Finally, giving up, Entitled Mother turns to the kid and says,
"Let's go. This lady's greedy. We don't want to play with greedy people."
The two leave and I just keep drawing, ignoring the stares of other customers. Okay, good on you for standing your ground, but honestly, I'm kind of really disappointed that I didn't get to use the little kid voice in the dialogue because I just made the little kid character voice and I haven't been able to use it very much because it's only in the cast list and they don't put the kid character in the story for some reason. So I'm stuck feeling like an idiot because I made this voice and I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good little kid voice, you know? But then they don't include him in the story and it's just upsetting. I'm sorry. This story's called Entitled Mother Criticizes and Puts Me Down for the Implications of a Meme Image She Looked At on My Desktop. Disclaimer: I love my mom ever so dearly, but she sometimes gets petty over very small things and causes much unnecessary fuss. This is one of these examples. So, my mom was using my computer to check the television guide for the night. Her computer is broken at the moment, and she insists that neither of us have or use mobile phones. She finishes with the TV guide and starts going through images on my desktop. Only harmless stuff I haven't sorted yet. I am in another room. The meme in question is linked here. The text is essentially, a wife is just a girlfriend with curse of binding, falling on and squashing normal life. She calls me out and asks,
What is this filth?
I explain that it is a meme, but she goes on about,
That is implying that you can have sex with a partner, which is a disgrace because sex is only ever for marriage.
I say that I hadn't thought of the fact that it implied that I just found the meme funny at the time and saved it. She continues to go on about,
And the girl, she has her mouth taped. Do you know what that is suggesting? That the girl has no consent and girls in general should be silenced. This is as bad as violations. You having this on your computer is so disgraceful. Imagine if your friends or relatives saw this. This is so outrageously wrong and unethical. You should never have been looking at any websites that display any filth like that. Blah, 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 blah.
So, long story short, I deleted the meme, but then recovered it, and I'm just a little bit peaked off at how entitled she can be. But hey, great story for you guys. Hey man, I'm sorry. I get the whole no privacy thing, but hey, eventually you'll be on your own. Then you can have whatever memes you want on your computer. This story's called Epic Steals Car. I'm 18 years old and still living with my parents. I pay rent and work full-time, but they still constantly go through my room and monitor my comings and goings. I recently found a tracker in my car and took it out, which is what started this whole event. My mom blew up the night I came home from work after having removed the tracker. Apparently, it is for my own safety and only there for emergencies. How did you know it was gone so quick though? The next day, I went to start my car and it didn't even make a noise. Spark plugs and a bunch of other parts were removed from the engine of the car I 100% paid for until I put the tracker back. Can't get to work in time, now currently writing this from the bus. Wow, how in tune with the previous story. Okay, that's horrible. Is it illegal what they're doing? He's 1, an adult. He's 2, independent, because he's paying rent, so they can't claim him as a dependent. And also, that was his property that they essentially destroyed temporarily. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.